Hiya. Just thought I'd do a video to show you my boards, at least the ones I've been riding at the moment anyway. I'll start with the board that I've had the longest in recent history. I don't have any of my old boards from back in the 90s anymore, or the 80s in fact, and so I'll show you what I've got now. I'll start with what I bought first, which is probably about 10 years ago now, and I bought it as a kind of cruising board. Bought it just to ride to work with and cruise around maybe in the park. I didn't ride it that much, and it kind of shows as well. So this is it. It is a 775 Powell Mini logo. I don't know when the Mini logos first started coming out, but maybe it's one of the early ones. Just a blank deck actually, blue stain, and because I'm an oldie, I bought some Everslick, old stock Everslick, and if you don't know what Everslick is, it's plastic, so you could do board slides. And in the late 90s, slick decks came out, or mid 90s actually, slick decks came out. Instead of using rails, you could use a slick deck instead to do board slides, and just literally a thin layer of plastic, and the decks were coming out with that plastic on them. Santa Cruz were one of the main companies that did slicks, and they released this slick that you could buy in packets in sheets, and you could just apply it to your board, and your normal non-slick board, and end up with a slick board. So hopefully you can see there's a panel in the middle there, one on the nose, one on the tail, and that's how it would come. So I applied that just because that's what I wanted, and they gave you a lovely sticker as well. So even by today's standards, this is all quite old school, but it's a fun thing to scoot about on. And it has Venture trucks and 1/8" riser. I always like to have risers, not really for the height thing, but more for, I don't know, peace of mind, cushioning. Back when people stopped using risers, I did as well for a little while, and I used to find that I get stress cracks in the top of the deck where the bolts are, and I find if I use kind of rubbery risers, I don't get that, so it kind of protects the deck a bit longer and maybe stops the shock a bit more. I don't know, but I like them. Yeah, so the Venture trucks, the wheels on here at the moment were the second set of wheels that I bought. They are Richter Clouds 78A 54mm, very soft, like marshmallows. Because it's a cruiser, I wanted very soft wheels. Riding around the streets of London, it's pretty rough, and I wanted something very soft. Before I got these, I bought a set of brand new old stock Powell Peralta street bones. I don't know if you can see those street bones. They are 90A. There you go, 90A. Very soft again. Excuse the banging. There's builders here today. But yeah, street bones. They're a bit wide and a bit chunky because they are kind of 80s, 90s wheels. They're, yeah, late 80s, early 90s, but they're very soft, and I really liked them, but they're just a bit too chunky. They looked a bit weird on the board, made it look a little bit like a monster truck. So I looked for some slimmer, smaller wheels just so that the board looked a bit better, but I'm gonna probably start using those again, hence why they're on those trucks. Some independent 169, I think they are, 169 trucks that I'm going to put on a wider board as a cruiser. So that was the board that I bought first. And what I'm riding now, which I got quite recently, is this one, which is a Powell Flight Charlie Blair model. It's one of the new flight decks. It's thinner, apparently lighter, but not by much. And it's got the top ply, it's 5 ply I think, and the top ply is actually not wood, it's like a composite, like Kevlar composite or something. And it's supposed to be very strong but very light. There's not really much in it, to be honest, between this and any other deck. It does feel physically thinner though, it really does. It's a bit weird, but it's very flexible and seems to ride nicely. I didn't buy it for any reason than I was just intrigued as to the construction and whether it would be lighter or not. And people were saying that they kind of the flexibility of them and how they flex kind of helps pop ollies higher. I don't know, it's marketing. Anyway, and they are some silver M-class hollow trucks. You can see those, which I really like. They got hollow kingpins. I don't know if you can see that. Hollow kingpins. Again, supposed to make them a bit lighter. They are a bit lighter than the Independents, just a little. But I like them, and they work well. Didn't need to change out the rubber. What do they call them these days? I used to just call them rubbers. I don't know what they call them these days. Tell me in the comments, I can't even remember. And again, I've got some little rubbery risers there. But yeah, don't need to change the suspension rubbers at all. They're just right, really. They're not too soft, they're just right. So that's great. And because there's no slick on the bottom of here, I fitted some rails. I like plastic on the bottom of my board. I like to slide on plastic. So these are some rails that I used to have years ago, Santa Cruz cell block rails, which I used to use years ago, and these are the modern version of them. Very nicely finished compared to the Powell rib bones. See one of my other videos about my feelings on those, which I can put a link in the description down there if you want to link and see that. But these are very nice and they slide very well, and I like sliding on rails. It protects your graphics too. Does that matter? Not really, but I like rails. And I do have some slick on the tail and on the nose. So I do have some slick on this one, but you can't buy this stuff anymore. This was old stock stuff and I don't have any more left. Oh, maybe I have, yeah, I think I have the belly part left, so I can perhaps cut some up for the next board, but it's going to run out pretty quick, so I'm going to have to stop using it unless Santa Cruz bring out some more, please. Santa Cruz, that would be really cool. I'm looking to get perhaps a slick deck next, because some brands have started doing slick decks, which is very nice. So that's cool. Wheels at the moment are these Santa Cruz Slime Ball Vomit Mini, and they are, I don't know what they are, 56 millimeters, I think, 56 millimeters. They're 97A. I wanted soft wheels that might slide, because I'm looking maybe to start trying to do some reverts on the concrete bowls, and so I thought I'd try out these 97s. They are really hard still. They don't feel like 97s that I'm used to from back in the 80s and 90s. They feel harder. So there's perhaps something weird going on with the formula or the compound. So they feel really hard to me. They feel like the 100A wheels that I really don't like. I don't like modern wheels. They're just too hard, horrible. So I'm not too sure about these at the moment, but I'm trying them out. Might go back to the Richter Clouds in the meantime, but I do have some old stock Powell 95A B77s and rat bones and mini rats on the way. Got 8 sets of old school wheels coming, brand new ones from America. So looking forward to trying those and seeing what happens. So that's about it. So yeah, that's the current board, the Flight. And maybe I'll post some more videos of what happens next with the wheels when they arrive and my feelings on those. But I hope you found that video interesting, and follow me, subscribe to the videos if you want to keep up with what I do next. And by all means comment, tell me what you think of any of those boards, any thoughts. Oh, the other things I didn't mention actually, the width of this one is 8.2 or 825 I think, so it's wider, because the old 775 is a bit too thin, and I'm finding the wider board is nicer, especially riding in the bowls. So, and I like my trucks tight as well, really tight, which is another thing that people say is weird, and people saying I ride a vert board because they're so tight. Maybe that's it. I kind of like the idea of skating vert, so maybe that's something I'm gonna get into. I used to skate big mini ramps a long time ago, not huge ones, but I quite like the idea of doing some airs and things like that. So yeah, anyway, that'll do for now, and thanks for watching the video, and I'll do another one soon. Cheers.